Good morning, everyone. It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday afternoon. Last night we were talking about makeup, and then I got inspired this morning to use the purples from my Huda palette, and this is today's makeup for everyone who's waiting on bated breath to find out what my makeup is going to look like today. This is today's look. All right, so let's get started. We haven't talked about Andrew Glennon in a while, and I figured it would be an appropriate time because recently he was on Instagram with a message to MTV regarding whether or not it is appropriate for them to essentially condone domestic violence by allowing Amber to remain on the show despite what happened in July with her arrest for domestic violence and wielding a machete against him and his son James. So if you have been living under a rock, we all know that MTV, despite audio recordings being leaked by Without a Crystal Ball in September, has made the decision not to terminate Amber until the court case plays out. Now, if you also have been living underneath a rock, the court case has been slowly moving through the system in Indiana. Her attorneys were in court last week, and last week they made the decision to, if she is going to resolve the case, she is ordered to be in court on October 31st. The order to the court could mean a lot of different things. It could mean that she's going to plead. It could be that she's going to select agreeing to a plea deal. And then if she isn't in court, it would move forward to trial. All right, you guys. So Andrew has been upset given the fact that despite the audio leaking that indicated that she actually did attack them, because there had been some question about whether or not this actually happened. Amber was telling people that she had been set up, and Andrew was adamant that it wasn't set up, that this really did happen, and three audios were leaked on this channel that related to different incidences throughout the couple years that these two were together. So MTV decided they weren't going to do anything despite uproar on social media, and Andrew has said this. So he wrote, "Is it morally sound and socially acceptable to capitalize on domestic violence and spousal abuse? If so, where is the line? Is there a line? What message is that to our children and for the future showrunners and creators of tomorrow's entertainment? The silent witnesses are just as guilty as the perpetrators." This goes back to a question a grader professor posed to the class in film school at UCLA. Are we, as creators of content, morally responsible for what we put out there? My answer is that the same, only stronger now. Absolutely. So Andrew's basically saying here that by putting out content that promotes domestic violence and shows domestic violence, we are essentially condoning it and then sending an irresponsible message not only to the people that are watching today, but to children who are going to be futures in creating entertainment. And this is a question that I have often had when it comes to reality TV. Is there a line that we should be drawing in terms of what we find as entertainment? And are there aspects of people's lives that we really should be glorifying for entertainment purposes? How is it, think of all the different shows that are on air at this point in time and how much of the bad behavior that is exhibited on these shows is essentially like why people tune in. I can think of so many different instances on Jersey Shore and on Teen Mom where violence or really nasty fights seems to be what draws people into watching these shows. And then what happens is, especially on a show like Teen Mom, there are children in the middle of this. So is it appropriate as a creator and a producer, just because you want to put the raw story out there, to highlight this kind of lifestyle? Because it seems to send a message to the people that are involved in the show that, you know what, as long as you behave this way, you're still going to have a career. As long as you do whatever it is that you do that gives us ratings, we will still give you a paycheck, and you will still have a platform to use through social media to spread whatever it is that you want about whatever. And in terms of Amber, she's still got a massive platform. Her Instagram has over 1 million followers. Her Twitter has like 700,000 followers. Andrew's, by comparison, is quite starkingly different. I mean, he's got like 115,000 followers on Instagram. He also has a tiny little Twitter. So by not saying anything to her, by condoning it, she still has this platform. Yet in the other world, say corporate America, or say, I don't know, athletes, like athletes are notoriously left, like fired from the teams. Like the NFL is pretty damn, like, think of Ray Rice. He is like the perfect example. He was caught on camera in a elevator, essentially punching out his wife cold to the point that he had to drag her out limp, unconscious. And the Ravens cut him immediately after that video leaked. Before the video, they didn't do anything because they weren't sure if it was as serious as it was. And after the video was like leaked by TMZ, it was immediate. They cut ties with Ray Rice. And Ray Rice has never rebounded or had any sort of like career in the NFL since. There's been a lot of cases like this where athletes are immediately let go, but then on reality TV, you have people doing the same thing that continue to have a platform. And is that okay? Are we really, as a society, becoming so low that we are starting to look at violence and violence between spouses as an entertainment factor? I don't think so. I would actually agree with Andrew. I have been pretty vocal on this channel that if this did happen, I absolutely think that she should be fired. Now, some people say, well, you're just trying to destroy her career. No, I'm not. I'm actually not trying to destroy anything. I think Amber has done a good enough job of destroying her own reputation by the way that she acts and the way that she behaves. And I don't think anything that I say or do or report on could change a damn thing related to Amber. Now, one thing that's getting lost in all of this, and something that I talked to about with Matt after last week's episode with him, was that getting lost in all of this is that there's a little boy that is in the middle of this that has a mother, and then there's Leah that also doesn't have a mother because Amber could potentially go to jail. Now, there is some talk that there might be a plea deal where she would maybe go to rehab and get like house arrest. It's unlikely, from what I'm hearing, that she would plead to anything that would put her in prison. Now, if she were to go to, say, a house arrest, she would obviously have to abide by whatever programs, and if she can't stick to them, then I'm sure there would be some sort of like, if you can't do this, then you have to go to prison. And we all know what happened the last time Amber went through this. She made the choice to not do all of that stuff and then still went to prison. So even if she doesn't get sentenced to it, a lot can happen if she can't stick to the terms, right? So, but we're forgetting that there's two little kids. And so she gets this platform where she can say whatever she wants. She can talk and educate people about mental illness. But there's two little kids now that don't have a mother and are basically like, Leah has Christina, thankfully, through Gary. But James doesn't have a mother. He is basically now being raised by himself with Andrew. Amber does have visitation at this point in time because the formal custody agreement has not been completed. According to court records, it's still up in the air. The court hasn't even made a decision on whether or not Andrew can move at this time. So Andrew made a point to actually remind people about what is going on with James, and I thought it was really telling. So he said, in other news, James has blossomed into the most loving and outgoing little man at the park now, and the amount that he has progressed is not easily put into words. Exponentially brilliant. Meaning that with maybe the implication that prior to all of this going down, that James was maybe not progressing the way that he anticipated, that James was more quiet, that James was more silent, that James was fearful of being around his mom because he didn't know what would set her off. Andrew has said on Instagram that there were times where she literally knocked him over when he went to go and got into a cabinet, and she pushed him over and he fell on his back. He has made numerous comments about how James was like treated very aggressively and maybe manhandled a little bit extra by Amber. So it's good to see that despite everything that he went through, that he is now doing better and that he is being outgoing. And if he was really silent and is scared to sort of interact with people, that's actually pretty telling, you guys. He was probably used to hearing all that kind of stuff in the home. James is so lucky to have a dad like Andrew that can actually be a good father, pick up the pieces, and try to give this little boy a normal life. Now, it would be better if he could actually go to California where he has a better support system, and that's why he has petitioned the court, because his mother and his sisters all live in California and could all be supporting him and helping him with James. And what every child needs, a village. So I thought I'd share a photo of James since so many of you guys have been wondering how he is. So here we go. This was James just a couple weeks ago in these adorable glasses. And it says, another beautiful day added to the books. James' style is unstoppable. According to Instagram, James is kind of walking, he's babbling, he's saying dada, he is progressing. He is your average toddler now. He is almost a year and a half. He's almost a year and a half now. So he's going to be busy getting into everything. And he is a little boy and he is on the move. So we have next week, 2 weeks, there'll be another court hearing. So 2 weeks from today, actually, she'll be in court to decide if she's going to plea or accept a plea deal. And then we are still, they're in the works on what's going on custody. And the custody case is sealed. So at this point, there's nothing publicly that we can share with you. And if you are wondering about the bond, that was the issue with Rhonda, who we actually had on this channel. The court did not grant her request and will not be refunding the bond money to her until the case is resolved. So this is where we're at. I want to know if you agree with Andrew that we do have a responsibility about what we put on TV, or if you just think this is part of reality TV. Some people will argue, you know what? When you do reality TV, you are signing up for the good, the bad, and the ugly, and it doesn't matter what happens. The goal isn't that if you get fired or if you do something outside of the law that you get fired. It's more like, this is what we're documenting. We're documenting life. And sometimes in life, people get arrested. And sometimes in life, domestic violence happens. And so people will say, why would you even expect them to fire her? Because this is what you're signing up for by watching this show. I don't know. I just don't agree with it. I was signing up to watch a show about little girls having babies, and now it's morphed into 30-year-old women who have multiple kids and are married, and some of them have or divorced or, it's just not even the same show anymore. If I really want to watch a show about teen pregnancy, I just tune in now to Unexpected on TLC. All right, you guys, I'll be back later. I'm working on getting some screenshots of Corey Wharton apparently inviting some girls into a hotel room while his girlfriend Taylor was pregnant at home. All right, you guys, I'll be back later. Bye.